Awesome. So, we have the winners for the second day. DigCap C. Congratulations. Yeah, shall we play the video?
Okay.
So, yep.
It has been challenging. But the IT director, student, academic, and administrator have developed a multitude of skills that they need to survive in 2016 and beyond. They have developed core skills and know how to continually develop their digital literacy skills. The year 2000 now feels like a distant memory. Whilst all teams did an excellent job in developing the skills of their person, these teams went the extra mile, showing that they too grok the digital capabilities that are needed in 2016. In recognition, the IT director at the University of Croston has asked them to form part of a new digital capability team, helping to develop their peers and colleagues.
On behalf of all of us, thank you for taking part.
I have to say thank you so much for making that. It was amazing.
Shall we get the winning teams up? Because we have got, as well as the digital badges, we've got awards. So if Team F and C,
Team
is
F
it?
and C, yes.
They want to come on stage, they can get a proper round of applause. And we can do the prize giving ceremony.
Yes.
If we can.
I'll get medals.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank our producer. Go Team F.
Well done, team. Well done, team.
We worked really well together.
Well done. Thank you. Would someone be able to take a picture of our lovely winners? So if we get Team F like over this side. Team C. Good. And we'll stand over here.
Yeah, we have to go in there. Should have got my hand.
Steve, you're not in that video. No, he's not in that.
Bring both photos, that'll confuse it.
Don't know what we did.
Whatever it was enough.
No, I meant me.
Oh, right. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking part. Right, so we appreciate everyone's going to want to get going, so we're just going to do a very, very quick summary of gamifying your DigCap. So I think you've met us both already, so we'll skip through that. But essentially what we wanted to do is just have a very quick overview of how we've covered the learning objectives and get some feedback. So there are our learning outcomes again, and we're focusing in on Personae and also having a think about gamification and engaging in networking. So you may not have realized, but we had sort of game objectives, business objectives, that were aligned with learning outcomes as well. So these are our first 3 learning outcomes, and they aligned with the objective to promote adoption through cost-effective demonstration of best practice. So we're hoping that perhaps you'll take some of the things about the game that were more successful and perhaps apply those in your own situations and have a think about that. So one of the things we used was Personae. So these are a couple of examples of Personae I've used in my job, and also I use them in my studies because I'm doing an MSc in user experience design whilst working full-time. A bit crazy to do that, but very good. So we use Personae to help you to think about your student, your IT director, your staff person, and your academic staff person. So our little characters were examples of Personae. But we also use Personae to understand all of you. So if you think about the webinar that some of you attended, the pre-conference webinar, we had a look at the different kinds of characteristics of different users. And some of you did the Mark Zuski user analysis, so you could find out about yourselves. And we also did a little bit of data analysis about the people who came last year and how to think about the motivations and how that might affect their approach to the game. We also had a look at using Personae as a collective reflective activity. So you're all looking at your different characters and thinking, what do these people need? How can we characterize their journey? We hope that you've learned a little bit about gamification and all the different ways it can be applied. Many of the discussions in the Twitter were about the word gamification and how annoying it is. I completely agree with you. So I think that I prefer sort of game-like experiences, game-like actions, game-like activities. It can be certain parts of a game that can really add flavor and interest to a situation. It doesn't have to be a complete huge game like we've gone through. We also wanted to increase audience engagement. We trended on Twitter. It had its downsides, but it was amazing, right? And we fostered, I think, some encouragement. We encouraged positive network behaviors, but also encouraged some more networking, perhaps, in addition to that as well. And also, Sue Watling contributed the idea that we might help to enhance some of our existing digital literacy and digital capability skills in the audience, but also for us as well. So we'll go through that in a second.
Digital resilience.
Yes, digital resilience. So I'll skip through this slide, but essentially the scheduling was supposed to be more of a kind of way of giving you like little boosts all the way through the event, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that quite in the way we wanted to. Yeah. But the tweets and retweeting and the activity on Twitter, I think, was fairly successful. In terms of digital capabilities, these are the different things we interacted with, and I think the introspective zone felt really good. It was a good energy in there. I liked how enthusiastic people were about finding the space and interacting with the new technologies and some older technology in there as well. And I just wanted to outline our collaborators and acknowledge them very quickly. So Ombiel for Campus M were really helpful in with the iBeacon, and Farzana worked very closely with them on that, and thank you so much for that too. We worked with Rise. They developed new functionality for the leaderboard, especially for this event, and one of the downsides of being a trailblazer sometimes is that things don't quite work out how you hope. So our capping worked for individuals, but not for groups, so it was giving us some strange scoring. Bear Conductive happily and very kindly gave us a touch board to experiment with, which was the interactive paint that actually is electroconductive, and then you press the paint and it makes sounds. Really fun. And just a thank you to Nettie and Lorraine for assistance with the webinars for the launch, and the digital capabilities groups, and our former players from last year for being champions. Thank you so much. And what about our own digital literacies? We did lots of things. So do you want to say a bit about those, Farzana?
Yeah, sure. So I think some of the new skills we learned, well, we worked with Campus M to learn about beacons and how that could integrate. I know there was, it worked well for some, didn't work so well for others, but it's all about learning. We used Go Animate to create the video before and after. Go Animate's quite an easy tool to use. I hadn't come across it before, but it's good because we wanted to create a bit of a throwaway resource. In reality, we won't use it again, but it was a quick result, and hopefully it enabled you to engage with the game a little bit better than if it was just paper, just written in words. And there were lots of technologies in the introspective area, which I know a lot of you went to as well. So, some of the challenges Fiona's already mentioned, and as Fiona said throughout the conference, we melted the Wi-Fi. And I know that me and Sarah, when we were doing the Nirvana box exercise, put Wi-Fi as a key thing of what we want in our box. But it was quite difficult for us, as well as for you, because you were obviously trying to participate, and there were a lot of the tools that we were updating required Wi-Fi. So if there was any kind of failure, we didn't know for about an hour, which is one of the reasons the leaderboard wasn't released as much as we wanted. With the introspective area, you could get points if you had your mobile phone set up in the right way, and some people discovered that they got points when they were putting their luggage in, because or if they were sat here because the room's there. So it was the radius really, and Campus N didn't want to change that radius for us in case it would break. But you know, it's about learning. So if you're ever using beacons, think about range. We had some rule benders. I didn't know what else to call you people, but sorry. But we capped a lot of the points, and that was all good, because kind of stopped that people just tweeting a load of nonsense really. But we didn't cap the sorry, it's late. So we didn't cap the DigCap focus hashtag, and no names mentioned. There were quite a few people just sort of just sending a load of tweets out, and we had lots of people reporting it back to us as well. So next time round we probably cap that one too. Group sizes, a few people came to us and said my group members haven't turned up, or they're not participating, or they've gone AWOL for whatever reason. And in hindsight, it would have been great if we could have grouped those teams that only were working with one or two other people, because I guess they didn't get to experience as much as those other groups where everyone was participating. But let's go away from the negatives and move to the positives, because we want to end on a positive note. But I think that looking at Twitter, we've seen a lot of deep engagement with the activity. Number of people have set up Padlets, so this is Group B's Padlet on Bob the Basic. Group IA, I get it now. They put together this Padlet, and I'm not sure what that picture is, but it looks very disturbing when you have a look. But, and then Group C's is quite nice. They've sort of timelined technology throughout the years. And we do hope to make these resources available on the UCISA website if you're happy for us to share that. And then we got people storifying as well, so that's Group K. And I have to say, one of my favourites, Group H, Dr. Specs. They actually made a Twitter account for Dr. Specs. So we actually added them to Dr. Specs to the group so they could get some extra points as well. And then Group F had James sent me this video, which I'm not going to be able to play, but they also, we'll distribute the link. And they had a Google Doc as well, so for their IT director. So I think that concludes our use of gamification at the conference. It'd be really interesting to know if you felt that this redesign of the game worked for you, what worked well, what do you think we can do to improve. The feedback form will be going round, so it'd be great if you could put any comments you've got in that, whether you participated or didn't participate. Is there anything you'd like to add, Fiona?
No, this was just something we showed during the intro webinar, so if you have any interest in more of the in-depth side of designing the game, I'd recommend you watch that, because that's on the site. And I think because of time, we'll probably leave your feedback until the actual survey, as Farzana mentions, because there are some questions about the game in the survey. But does anyone have any last questions for us? Because we could probably fit in two. One.
I reckon people want to go home.
Yeah,
I think we probably do need to stop, but I just want to thank you too, because I think these have possibly been the most memorable and stressful days of your life, or memorable in not in a good way. And I just wanted to thank you so much, because it's been fabulously inspiring, and I think we all feel, for you because of the problems with the Wi-Fi and the various technologies, but really I thought it was a brilliant idea. If we're going to do it again, I think we might need to build a bit more time into it, but it would be great to get some feedback from you on how it went. So thanks so much to Fiona and Fauzana.